Thank you, David, for allowing the celestial musicians to work with your hands. And we have a wonderful program tonight. Wonderful program. Take a look. There's a variety of things. We have skits and wonderful speakers. I hope you enjoy the show. I will now introduce myself. I didn't want to get ahead of it. I'm Doreen Hain, your MC for tonight. Marilyn twisted my arm. She thought I needed to have some experience in life, and she said, why not? So I'm Doreen Hain. I was born and inbred in BCCI, the borough of crooks and criminals, New York City. I was given this honor for the growth experience, but just keep in mind, we are not about self-importance. But it is important to acknowledge the wonderful contributions that so many people have made. People whose vision of the future never diminished. For instance, it's funny, David, you told me to speak very slowly, and Marilyn said, hurry up. I'm going to try to do my best. The year 1955, the revelation was born. The forum was ecstatic. The publishing day and the creation of our social organization, the Brotherhood. They anticipated with bated breath for thousands of study groups to appear. They couldn't be happier or prouder. This thing is fun. Little did they know the pattern for thousands of study groups was established, I'm talking slow, by the secrets of supremacy. You see, there are thousands of study groups. They are just keeping it a secret. Why not? Since we have on the sacred spheres of paradise things hidden, mysteries, and secrets. To name a few, we have the personality secrets, the trinitized secrets of supremacy, even the ministering spirits of the super-universe. They talk about the secret of greatness. Then we have the secrets of the natural realms, that they preserve the craft secrets. Secrets of Spiritington, the mysteries of reflectivity. Not last, but we have the mystery of mysteries, the divine thought adjuster. And last, the sleeping subject still remains a mystery. Maybe not after tonight. And of course, the papers were kept a secret for decades. God works in mysterious ways. What do you expect? I'm rolling right along. Paula Thompson is no secret to this community. She is the voice of the fellowship as executive director. She's a devoted member and student for many, many decades. Paula Thompson, whose work is love made visible. Let us welcome Paula Thompson.
Welcome to the 60th anniversary of the Urantia Book Fellowship. Hope you guys are having as good a time as I am. You know, I'm happiest when I'm here with you. And I'm equally as happy when I'm at home serving my family. So that should tell you something. That's how I feel about you. You're family to me. And it's an honor and a privilege to serve you. It's just the greatest joy there is for me. So thank you, all of you, for being here, for sharing this moment, 60 years, the 60th anniversary, this great conference on our Heavenly Father, your Father, my Father. We stand on the shoulders of giants, don't we? Didn't you love that video? We stand on the shoulders of giants, and tonight is a night to reflect on that. The 60 years plus, because it's 60 years since the book was published. It's 60 years since the Brotherhood, the Urantia Brotherhood, was created, and the Urantia Foundation. But it went on for a long time before that. So let's reflect on that. Let's reflect on all that went into that moment of birth, the 30 years perhaps that it gestated, and more, that Dr. Sadler and Lena and Bill and Christy gave to get it to that place where it could be born in 1955, and those organizations could be born in 1955. And look at how far we've come. Look at the internet. Who knew? Who knew that was going to happen? The revelators did. I'd like to bet they did. They knew, but we didn't. We were clueless. But we rose to that occasion, didn't we? We really have. We've risen to that occasion. We stand on the shoulders of giants. I mentioned a few. Every single one of you has a mentor in this movement, somebody you could call, somebody who helped you, somebody you could say to, what did they mean when they said that? What are they getting at there? And they took the time with you to give you their best explanation. And I can think of so many I've known, and I'm so blessed to know so many of you, to know you well, to love you well. I think of Dwayne and Lucille Fall. Dwayne and I spent many, many hours driving back and forth to expos. I treasure that time I got to spend with him, driving to an expo, from his home in Malibu to wherever it was. He told me once, he says, you know, my father was a minister, and my grandfather was a minister. And every morning before breakfast, we had to hear the Bible. He read to me from the Bible, and all of us. Sometimes he'd read from King James, and then he would say, but I prefer this version, which taught me that you could interpret it. But every morning, 20 minutes, we read from the Bible. Now, what that meant to me was a lot of cold breakfasts. That was Dwayne. I asked Meredith Sprunger one time, why do you think this atonement doctrine is so hard? He said, you might be surprised, Paula. Most of the clergy has already given it up. But it takes a long time for it to get down to the congregational level. I remember after an expo one time, we were sitting around talking, and we were having the best time, debriefing on everything we'd said and done, talked about the Urantia Book until we were blue in the face. And Marvin told us a story about Julia Fenderson. And everybody who talks about Julia gets this light in their eyes. And he said Julia used to like to do costume parties. And he said they were impromptu lots of times. She'd tell us in a couple of weeks we'll be doing a costume party, and we'd all go, yeah, what am I going to be? He said, well, it just so happened one night Julia planned a costume party, and the Urantia Foundation, not knowing this, sent a new reader over this night. You know where this is going, right? Julia dressed up as Mother Eve. In full regalia, she had a flashlight fastened behind her head to create a halo. This poor unsuspecting fellow comes to the door, and he knocks on the door, and Julia, in full character, opens the door and says, "Hello." And the fellow swallows real hard and says, "Who are you?" She says, "I'm Mother Eve." And he looks over her shoulder, and he sees these other wackos in the background. He says, "I think I'm at the wrong house." Took his book and walked away. Then there's the great story about, the conference that we were looking at a conference site and walking along, looking at the site, and the minister asked, "So who are you guys again?" And someone said, We're the Urantia Book Fellowship. He's thoughtful. He's seen a lot of New Age folks come and go. He said, "So what is Urantia?" "Oh, it's the name of our planet." He paused for a moment and said, "So where is this planet you're from?" We have to laugh at ourselves, right? We've learned not to say that in the outreach committee. It's not the name, it's the name of this planet, the one we're on. We've come a long way. We're learning a lot. We're doing a lot. We found our courage. It's not so hard to talk about the Urantia Book anymore. We went to the Parliament in Melbourne, and we participated in a women's plenary. That was wonderful. Christina played the violin. She told the group, "I'm going to take you into the ozone, but I promise I'll bring you back." They called us the Urantia tradition. Gosh, that felt good. You were there with all those wonderful traditions. It was great to be called the Urantia tradition. We went to Israel in 1994, with Burke. Everybody who talks about Burke gets some misties in their eyes. And we were in this, I think it was the Annunciation, and there's a marble floor with 3 big circles on the floor. And the whole group went crazy. "Oh my God, a circle, circle, circle this, circle that, circle." We were all standing in the circles, running around the circles. I was standing with Burke, and she turned to me and said, "These Urantians are circle crazy, aren't they?" I said, "Yeah, we are. We're circle crazy." So thanks for being a part of this history. And one more thing, I'd like to say there are some people here I know this is their first time they've ever been to a Urantia conference. Can you stand up if this is the first time you've ever been to a conference? Woo-hoo. We'll go easy on you when the chickens come out, I promise. No, we don't want to scare you, but thank you for coming. I really hope with all my heart, as I know we all do, that you're having a great time. And as my new friend Sean Moore said, I had to come here. He drove 12 hours from Philadelphia to be here with us. He said, "I just had to talk to somebody." And he said, "My mother said, 'That's right, Sean, you go. They'll understand you.'" So thanks, Sean, for coming 12 hours. And thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Great ad lib. Wow. What a wonderful start for tonight. But it is not over. we have now two very special presenters. It is an honor and a pleasure to introduce Carolyn Kendall and John Hales. Carolyn Kendall, welcome.
Takes a while. Sorry. Okay.
I'm a younger member of the forum.
I was making bets with people. He would say
Anyway,
that.
I'm John Hales, in case. Carolyn has written a nice sort of script for the two of us. We thought, but before we start, Carolyn shared with me something that I felt was quite touching for me. This is a letter written to Bill Sadler Jr. by his father, Dr. Sadler, on January 22nd, 1923. Bill Jr. was in Junction City, Kansas. I don't know why. And his father writes, "Dear Bill, I send you some jokes I picked up today. How are things coming? Thought I was going to hear from you every day. Say, let's start a Sunday evening forum at our house. I'll answer and direct discussion on philosophy, religion, ethics, and race betterment. We would keep open house and invite our friends and patients to come when they felt like it. We don't go to church anyplace, and we ought to set aside that much for our own improvement. Talk it over with your mother. Yours, Dad." This was the beginning of the forum.
I guess you could say. The title of this is Myths, Fallacies, and Facts. And as Doreen said, my father actually was the first of our family to become interested in the Urantia Book. His name was Clarence Bowman, and he became a member of the forum in 1923.
Okay. I will indeed.
Okay. And that was in 1923. I joined the forum in 1951, a week before my 19th birthday, so you can do all the adding. And 4 years before the Urantia Book was published in 1955. I was, in other words, Myth Bowman when I joined the forum.
That's Myth Bowman.
I brought Mr. Tom Kendall into the forum, and then I became Myth of Kendall.
My grandparents joined the forum in 1923. My grandmother was referred to Dr. Sadler by her physician for suffering from depression. Then my parents, who had just graduated from college in 1930, my father joined the forum, and my mother told me later, they were just dating at that time, she thought Bill was really interested in this, and so should she. I'm going to ask Carolyn a series of questions. I've heard that the Urantia papers were found in a safety deposit box in a bank in Cleveland, Ohio. Is that a myth?
Yes. That bank box wasn't big enough.
Well then, is it true that a psychiatric patient fell asleep on the doctor's couch and began talking in his sleep?
Dr. Sadler was not a couch doctor. He didn't think a patient should lie around on the furniture. The doctor was a general physician and surgeon, as well as a psychiatrist, until 1930, when he had to make a decision as to which specialty he was going to pursue. So he was a general physician and surgeon, and then he switched to psychiatry permanently.
I read in the doctor's 1929 book, The Mind at Mischief, that the revelation began in 1911. But apparently that was wrong. When did the papers arrive?
The celestial visitors began arriving in the first decade of the 20th century, but the papers began to arrive in 1925.
Well, what was going on between 1900 and 1925?
The 18 or 20 years before the papers came were the testing years. The contact personality was tested to make sure he wasn't faking it. They brought in other physicians, psychiatrists, handwriting analysts, and a detective to test them.
I'm surprised that they didn't bring in a magician.
Surprise! They brought in 2 magicians. Howard Thurston, the well-known sleight of hand magician, and Harry Houdini, who would disappear. Mr. Thurston later joined the forum and did the sleight of hand tricks, which he performed for the forum and their guests at picnics and parties. But Houdini wasn't interested in the content of the papers, just the phenomena.
Pause. A few people believe that the forum ended in May 1942. Why is that?
Well, the only thing that ended in 1942 were the questions the forum asked that expanded the revelation. They had to cut them off so they could begin the printing process. So when John and I say we joined the forum in 1951 or 1954, is that when you joined?
Close enough.
Close enough, okay. They cut them off. Okay. We say the forum was not a ghost organization. Every seat was filled every Sunday with humans. The forum called itself the forum. The human contact commissioners called it the forum. And the revelators called it the forum until 1956, when it became First Urantia Society. You know, John, I've wondered how they tested the revelators. Do you have any insight on that?
Well, I heard that one way was by playing a joke on our unseen friends.
A joke?
Well, yes, a joke. The humans placed a $5 bill between some of the pages of the questions and then placed them in the locked vault. And then when they opened the vault, the pages were gone, but the $5 was still there.
Have you heard that the human contact commissioners found part 4 of the Jesus papers already typed and neatly stacked up next to the typewriter?
Well, I'd have to think about that one. The Midwares, by the way, they're all here tonight, probably
Cringing.
yeah, I hope they all have a sense of humor. The Midwares probably had several centuries to think about what they planned to write. They were ready to go when they received permission from on high to include the life and teachings of Jesus. The final drafts of papers usually came in handwriting, but already typed? Question mark? That's stretching a lot.
You know, I really wonder whether other inhabited worlds will get a written revelation like this.
Ah, that's a big question. If they don't get a written revelation now, they will get one eventually, but only if ours proves to be successful. Ours is the first one. We are an experiment as usual.
But of course, we know that the Father knows best.
You can say that again.
We know that the Father knows
Okay,
best.
Beth. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, how wonderful that was. And I apologize to John. I did have an introduction with him, but I forgot to tell you he's third generation Urantia reader. Wow. Steve Dreyer is a great friend, a fellowship officer, and a man who has taken the road less traveled. Why? Because his wife Bobby said he never asks for directions. Steve will lead us in a toast. Welcome, Steve Dreyer.
Well, a toast. Well, a toast is normally a time for thanking people, at least as I understand it. But before doing that, let me tell you a little story. Years ago, after I found the Urantia Book, I became aware of Melchizedek. And somehow I discovered that Melchizedek was mentioned in Genesis. I'm Jewish by background, and maybe I should have known this, but I've never paid too much attention to the Old Testament, and it just puzzled me that there was this one mention of Melchizedek in the Old Testament. And basically what it said was Abraham, who was the patriarch of Judaism, had gone out and engaged in some kind of big battle. And he was successful. And so he returned to Jerusalem with a lot of loot and stuff, and he presented himself to Melchizedek, the priest of the Most High. And Melchizedek came out and blessed Abraham and thanked God, and that's the last you hear of Melchizedek in the Jewish religion. Right? So one of the fellows I worked with was an Orthodox Talmudic Jew who studies all these things in great detail. So I asked him about it. I said, what do you know about Melchizedek in the the Old Testament. In Genesis, he said he really didn't know much about it at all. He hadn't thought about it, but when he got into the studies, he would look it up and see what he could tell me. And he came back a couple of weeks later and he said, okay, I have the answer for you. Here's the answer. When Abraham returned from battle, Melchizedek came out, and first he blessed Abraham, and second he thanked God. Now that got God irritated. Should have thanked God first and then blessed Abraham. And because of that, the honor of being the prophet of the revelation of the one God was taken away from Melchizedek, and it was given to Abraham, and Melchizedek simply disappears into history. That's the explanation. Yeah. So I want to thank God right away at the, right at the beginning here. We'll thank the Universal Father. And secondly, I'd like to thank my wife, Bobby, for much the same kind of reasoning. And now we can move to everyone else. So let's see. So it's 60 years, and as someone pointed out, it's really been more than 60 years. It's probably been more like 100 years, I would say, when you factor in the pre-publication activities and the post-publication activities. And as far as we know, there's about 800,000 copies in paper of the Urantia Book floating around in the world. Although, people have said it, of the 800,000, 400,000 are in the homes of the readers in this room. That's also been said. I think it's a little exaggeration, but there's some truth to it. There's a bit of truth to it. I have a copy of the Finnish Urantia Book in my home. I've had it for 20 years, I think. I have no idea why I keep that thing. And then, of course, we have the recent internet activities, and maybe there's another couple 100,000 or so copies of the book that are out there in the world, maybe 1 million. Right? So since publication, maybe 1 million copies in the world. Not bad. That's not bad. 1 million of anything in the publishing industry is a runaway bestseller. It really is. It's just, it took 60 years, but nevertheless. So that's a good thing. But that doesn't happen by magic. There's no magic in that. That represents the work of hundreds upon hundreds, and for all I know, thousands of people, really. Many of which, if not all of whom, are in this room. Right? Everybody in this room has played a role in this, in the furtherance of and the dissemination of the fifth epical revelation. And we really do owe them a sincere thank you. They're the reason that we're here tonight, right? That we're able to get together and celebrate the fifth epical revelation. They're the reason we ran into this book and discovered a transforming influence in our lives. So we have a lot to be grateful for the people here, the people not here. There are many participants who are not able to come to these gatherings. For the people who have, as we say, gone on to the mansion worlds, many of them. Right? Really, we have so much to be thankful for one another. Right? I'm not sure we always are aware of this or think about it, right? But we really should. We are blessed in our associates. We really are. And those are just the ones we can see. All right? Now, my guess is that the real supervisors of the revelation are the ones we can't see. Why? Because we're here for a lifetime and gone. But they're here for many lifetimes, right? The midwayers, the angels, maybe student visitors, maybe beings unrevealed that they haven't told us about. We don't know. Are they here in the room? You can count on it. They'd have to be here. Why would they not be here to celebrate with us? They're working the same way we're working, more so. So let's just take a moment and express in our own hearts a degree of thanks to all the unseen workers, the ones we can't see, for helping us, for guiding us, for working with us, to bring the revelation to the point it is today in the world. And we can also be thankful because we know that all this work will continue. Right? We will pass from the scene, and a new group will appear because the revelation will have touched them the same way it touched us. And they will want to work for the glory of God and the furtherance of the revelation, and they'll become workers just the same way we did, right along with the angels. So let's thank the generation not here yet, but shortly arriving. And finally, just to be on the safe side, let's thank the Universal Father once again. Thank you. Hey, toast. Revelation and all who love it and are touched by it and work for it from here to paradise.
A human being's entire afterlife is enormously influenced by what happens during the first few years of existence. If you believe it's true, put the green card up. If you believe it's false, put your red card up. Red card, anyone?
There's a few red cards.
You're out of the game.
Yeah.
1, 2. The spotters, don't forget. Jump right in.
Time is good. Okay, question number 2, true or false? In dealing with crime, the question is, in dealing with crime, it was learned that the severity of the punishment was not so valuable a deterrent to crime as was its certainty and swiftness. True or false? All the trues, green? Okay, those that feel it's false, put up the red. Any reds out there? Red card, false?
Too easy.
Yeah, that was too easy. Yeah, it's true. Everybody's right. The whole room is right. John? Yeah, maybe so.
Put up a card whether you think it's green or red.
Yeah, and not
Because I was saying
a lot of people.
who's going to put up the red.
Yeah, let's just put them
Okay.
up at one time. John brings up a good point here. I'm new to this game. But,
Me too. It's
So,
a
yeah.
learning experience.
So when we ask a question, put up green or red and not. Yeah,
And then we'll tell you.
Call for Mike to do it now.
now.
All
right,
right.
all right, now we're
Either
getting
you
there.
know it or you don't.
Now we're getting Urantia trivia figured out here.
Question number 3. Life always originates spontaneously. True or false? Go ahead, Tony.
Okay, I'll read it again. Life always originates spontaneously. Ready? True or false? Up you go.
You're out of the game.
It is the correct answer is false. So any green card is done. It does not originate
good.
spontaneously. She's on it.
She's
Gabrielle.
on it. Oh, wow, I love it.
All right, number 4.
Number 4, the adjutant mind spirits experientially grow and they become personal. True or false?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. The question was, the adjutant mind spirits experientially grow and they become personal. Is that true or false? The answer is false, yeah.
All
So
those
any
green
green
cards
cards are
forfeit.
Any green cards?
You're out of the game.
Give it up, Dad. Oh, that was fun.
I love it.
Gabriella got her dad, huh?
Yes. Next question, the first stage of light and life. A world in this initial settled stage is being administered by 2 rulers.
Okay, second time. The first stage of light and life, a world in this initial settled stage, is being administered by 2 rulers. True or false? Up you go.
It's false. It's 3 rulers.
Now we're getting harder.
Wow. All right.
So, any
Well-
green cards?
Any green cards? Give it up. Give it up. Yay. We're working fast. Remember, we only have 20 minutes. The thing is, the 3 of them are planetary sovereign, chief of planetary core of finaliters, and Adam and Eve. Just for your information. That's the point. You had no idea. The 6th question is, are you ready? Okay, the inhabitants of the central universe are received into the core in the ratio of 1 in 1,000 of finality company.
So, okay, second reading here. Number 6.
Yes.
The inhabitants of the central universe are received into the core into the ratio of 1 in 1,000 of finaliter company. Is that true or false? Up you go. Red or green? And the answer?
And the answer is it's true.
So any red cards are done, huh?
Red cards are done. Number 7. Number 7, we presume to call gravity messengers personality, but in reality, they are super spirit beings, unlimited and boundless personalities.
All right, one more time. We presume to call gravity messengers personalities, but in reality, they are super spirit beings, unlimited and boundless in personality. True or false? Up you go. You hit blue. Neutral.
That's all
True or
that's
false?
left, is that right? It is true. It is true.
So any red card is done.
Red cards, you're out.
Wow, we're eliminating quick.
Wow, this is going good. We're eliminating almost everybody. Well, we have
Davis, what's up
some.
with
We have some great skits.
blue? She's always in. Yeah.
Number 8, while religious, social, and educational institutions are all essential to the survival of cultural civilization, the family is the master civilizer. True or false?
Oh, yeah. You know that's true.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an easy one.
I had to throw one easy one in.
Yeah. now-
Sex interest and desire were dominating passions in primitive peoples. They simply took them for granted. True or false? Go, you read.
Oh, yeah. Okay, second reading on the
Second
sex.
reading.
Okay, sex interest and desire were dominating passions in primitive peoples. They simply took them for granted. True or false? Yeah, it's not written correctly.
What? What's not written?
Read it again.
The sex? What do you mean, what's not written?
Read it again. Sex interest and desire.
Sex interest and desire were sex. You know,
Oh, that.
you used to remember that years ago.
Same, Mary.
So I know you can handle that. Anyway, what's true or false? It is false. The desire was not dominating passions.
Maybe that's it. How many are left? Yeah.
Those that are still playing, go up there.
Yeah. Come on up if you're still playing.
Okay.
Come on up. Let's see you.
Come
smart
on
guy.
down.
Come on down. Oh, Merritt's still in. Oh, good.
Yeah, wonderful. I knew it. Who else is in the game?
Come on up if you're still in the game. Oh, the only one in was Merritt.
Merritt, you were the winner?
That's it?
Oh my God, I had 25 more questions. Wow, what a... Well, congratulations.
Hey, Merritt.
Do you know what? I know you won't be disappointed, but somewhere between Marilyn's house and Techne, the prize disappeared. But you know we honor you anyway, and I appreciate that your participation brought us so much joy and happiness. This is good. So now we have 2 more skits to do tonight, and that is great. Wow, we did so much work for nothing. Now, you're in for a big surprise. By the very grace of chronoludex, universe power directors, and other entities you won't believe anyway, we bring you from the past George Burns and Gracie Allen. The part of Gracie is being performed by Mrs. Kulicki's understudy, Andrea Barnes. They are here. Burns and Allen, come on down, yay!
Hey, Gracie, let me ask you something. Did your nurse ever drop you on your head when you were a baby?
Oh, no, we could not afford something like that. My mother had to do it.
You had a smart mother.
Oh, yeah. Smartness runs in my family. When I went to school, I was so smart. My teacher, she was in my class for 5 years.
Gracie, what school did you go
Oh, I'm
to?
not allowed to tell anything like that.
Why not?
Well, because my school pays me $25 a month not to tell.
Is there anybody in your family as smart as you?
Well, my sister Hazel. She's a genius. She's even smarter. If it weren't for her, our canary would have never hatched that ostrich egg.
A canary hatched an ostrich egg.
Yes, but the canary was too small to cover that big egg.
So?
Let's see what happened. So Hazel, she sat on the egg and held the canary in her lap.
Hazel must be the smart one in your family.
No, that's my brother Willie.
Willie.
Yeah, he's the one that slept on the floor.
Willie, he slept on the floor.
Yeah, well, he had high blood pressure.
And he was trying to keep it down.
Yeah.
I'd like to meet Willie.
Well, you can't. We all miss him.
That really changes things.
You can't miss him. He always wears a high collar because he's covering the appendicitis scar.
Gracie, your appendix are down around your waist.
I know, but Willie was ticklish. So they had to go in through the neck.
What's Willie doing now?
Oh, he just lost his job.
Lost his job?
Yeah, he's a window washer.
And?
Well, you know, he was up there on the 20th story, he was
Mhm.
doing a fantastic job, he took a step back to admire his work, and,
He lost his job,
Yes.
as I
well, when he hit the pavement, he was terribly embarrassed.
embarrassed.
Yeah, well, you know, the collar flew up and everybody could see the appendicitis scar.
Gracie, this family of yours,
Well, you know, when Willie was a little guy, my dad took him out for a walk in the carriage.
Mhm.
When he came back, new baby, new carriage.
what did your mother say?
Oh, she didn't care. She loved the new carriage. Oh, yeah, and you know, not only that, but my father, with the baby that he brought home, was a French baby.
So what'd your mother do?
Are we on the paper stage?
No, we're-
Oh, yeah, so the little baby that my father brought home was French. Was the little French baby. So
You see,
my mother
what-
took up
what-
French.
Gracie, this family of yours, do you all live together?
Oh, sure, yes. Now my father, my brother, my uncle, my cousin, my nephew. In fact, they all slept in the same bed.
In one bed.
Yeah.
I'm surprised your grandfather didn't sleep with them.
Well, he did, but you know, once he was dead, they asked him to get up. They made him get up.
Yeah, did they? Turned a page in his life, did they? Listen, Gracie, I've got an idea. I'm going to ask you something, then you ask me the same thing. In other words, I'm going to be the comedian.
Sure, you're the funny guy, yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Okay, so go ahead, be funny.
Well, I might have a little trouble, but this is what I want to do. So here's what's going to happen. If I should say to you, why are apples green? All you have to do is repeat the same thing. You say, I don't know, why are apples green? Whatever I say, you say.
I get the idea, so I repeat what you say, and you tell me the answer.
Exactly.
Got it.
Okay, that's it. So here we go. What fellow in the army wears the biggest hat?
I don't know. Why are apples green?
Not to be silly. But when I say what fellow in the army wears the biggest hat, you just say, I don't know. What fellow in the army wears the biggest hat?
Yeah, I got it. You're the comedian.
Yeah, right. All right, now, what fellow in the army wears the biggest hat?
The fellow with the biggest head?
I certainly am the comedian.
I think so. Try another one.
No, all right. Here's another one. What is it that sings and has 4 legs?
2 canaries. Okay. Listen, there's been something really interesting going on. I was looking at the registration, for this conference, all the totals for this 60th anniversary party, and you people out there, you don't look tired and worn out.
Well, tired and worn out? You don't look that way to me either.
Well, but right at the report, at the top of the report, it said conference attendees, broken down by age and sex.
I don't think she knows what that means. Gracie, tell me, what else have you been reading lately?
Well, I've been reading the Urantia Book.
Well, what's that about, Gracie?
That's about everything.
Oh yeah, that big blue book you've got. That looks like a mighty big book.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge. In fact, my brother Willie, he's using it to prop up his kids, so they can eat dinner easier.
Propping up his kids so they can eat dinner easier.
It's the thing they put under on the chair, right?
I've never heard that one
Booster
before.
chair.
This is news to me.
It's the booster chair.
The booster chair. Okay. Well, so why does he do that?
Well, because he spent spent so much money on that book. He spent $50 on that book.
So?
So? He wants to get his money out of it.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Practical man.
Practical man, that Willie.
Well, there's nothing, though, that compares to
Uncle Herman?
Uncle Herman. Yeah, that Urantia book saved his life.
Oh?
Yeah, well, he takes the Urantia, he's a policeman.
Oh.
So he takes the Urantia book, he tucks it down his shirt, and the other night he was in a gunfight on the job. But guess what? He got shot, didn't even penetrate to page 1287.
So it saved his life, huh? I guess it must be a pretty good book if it saves his life. It's got to be good stuff.
Well, of course it is. In fact, not only that, but it talks about God and the universes, the galaxies, all sorts of different stuff. In fact, claims to be written by celestial beings.
What part of the book do you like the best?
Well, of course, I like the part about what happens when you die.
Well, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Is there any work to do?
It's all work, you know. You go right from here, you're working, you go right to there. You're still working the whole way. There's no difference.
You mean I'll be in movies?
No. I mean, we're from such a backward planet. They're not going to have you doing anything up there like that. No way.
Well, never mind that. What chapter were you reading today?
I was reading about Adamson and Rada.
Oh, well, what did they do?
Well, they had 67 children.
Well, say, that's quite a lot. I bet it gave them quite a tax deduction.
Well, I don't know, George. Some of them, 1 in 4 was invisible.
Invisible. If every fourth child was invisible, how'd they know they had them when they had them?
Oh, Georgie, come on. Every parent knows their kid. Come on.
But Gracie, what happened to these children?
Well, they grew up and they had more invisible children. And now they became midwayers. That's what they're called. Probably right here, right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they live on this planet all the time.
Well, what do midwayers do?
Well, they try and make the world a better place. They do all sorts of things for all sorts of people.
Oh, you mean they'll light my cigar and fetch my slippers?
Oh, no, George, don't be silly. You want midwayers waiting on your hand and foot? Give me a break. The next thing you know, you'll try to be playing God or something.
Well, that might be a good role to try. Say this Urantia book sounds pretty strange to me, with all these celestial beings and midwayers and invisible children and things.
Well, not only that, there was green men, there's orange men, but the green men killed off the orange men. They were also a good size. The orange men were something. The purple people, 8 feet tall.
I say goodnight, Gracie.
No, and you know that Adam and Eve themselves were 8 feet tall. In fact, Eve, over 100 years old, goes out and has an affair.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
Oh, good night, Gracie.
Wow, that was dynamite. Our next act is going to be performed, written, and directed by Merritt Horn. Merritt is a member of the General Council, Urantia University instructor and trustee, and co-chair of SRT Committee, an oasis in the desert. Welcome, Merritt. He will narrate.
Most of us have often wondered why it took Dr. Sadler so long to accept the fact that the Urantia phenomenon was real. Here he was, confronted by all the evidence you could ever hope for, and yet he hesitated. For years. It's always been an intriguing topic of discussion among Urantia book readers. Well, the truth is that there was another incident about a year before the familiar story we know began about the sleep exception. Only a few of the old-timers ever knew about this. But tonight, all of you are privileged to be finding out what happened on this other critical and formative night. We'll take you back now to the summer of 1912, to the home of Doctors Lena and William Sadler. It's late at night. Only Dr. William is at home. He's fallen asleep, waiting for Dr. Lena to come home from her regular Thursday night bowling league. When suddenly, cutting through the hot, heavy, humid Chicago air, like a chainsaw through butter, comes a loud knock on the door.
What? Lena? What? Who? Oh. Yes? What? May I help you, ma'am? You've just run over my foot. What's the problem, ma'am? Your husband. You say he's fallen asleep and you can't wake him up? That he seems like he's dead? Well, that does sound serious. Let's go take a look. Show me your place. And there is something else? What? You mean mysterious writings have appeared? And you never saw them? You didn't see him write them? Well, that is interesting. I think we ought to look into this. How long has he been this way? 2 days? Really? Well, he's not going anywhere. Let's take a look at these writings here. Is it right here? Ma'am, this kind of looks like a grocery list. You sure this is it? Okay. This one. Okay. Well, and these are the writings you're talking about. The crow will look to the east when the sun rises, and to the west when he's hungry. Strength is found in the strong, and weakness in the weak. Friday is better than Monday. And a full house is better than a flush.
Sleeping survivors.
To tell you the truth, man, that doesn't seem all that otherworldly to me. We'll get back to that later, and let's take a look at your husband here and see what we can do. Your husband is not cooperating. Madam, I hate to have to tell you this, but
there's actually a good reason why you couldn't wake your husband up, and he seemed to be dead. I'm afraid to tell you this, but he really is dead. And that's the end. That's what really happened. The garden storming up.
Very good. Thank you, Meredith. That was delightful.
God, what a fine job.
What a fine job.
You know, but I told him that he was going to carry this emotionally. He had to sell this.
Never seen John so red.
I was going to say the same thing.
His job was to look more and dead. As time went through, and he started laughing. This is unfortunate.
I was crying.
Anyway, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. I hope you're enjoying yourselves because it's so unique to have these volunteers create something just automatically without having a lot of time to think about it. And then they put me as the stooge. Our next part of the meeting, our music director, Miguel Angola from Colorado, who is a professional singer and musician, will entertain us. He also has great humor and is a cool guy. Let us welcome Miguel. Where are you?
So we talk a lot about the Father, and we don't talk enough about the Mother Spirit. Somebody who's become very, very important in my life recently as my mother. Where is she? Where's Paula Thompson? Here she is. So I want to sing the song for her. I love her so much. Well, Mama told me when I was young, said, sit beside me, my only son, and listen closely to what I say. And if you do this, it'll help you some sunny day. Oh yeah, real. Take your time, don't live too fast. Troubles will come and they will pass. You'll find a woman and you'll find love. And don't forget, son, there is someone up above. And be a simple kind of man, and be something you love and understand. So baby, be a simple kind of man. Won't you do this for me, son, if you can, if you can. Don't get your lust from the rich man's gold. All that you need now is in your soul. And you can do this, oh baby, if you try. All that I want for you, my son, you'll find yourself. Follow your heart and nothing else. And you can do this, oh baby, if you try. All that I want for you, my son, is to be satisfied and be a simple kind of man. And be something you love and understand. Baby, be a simple man. Oh, won't you do this for me, son, if you can? So baby, be a simple man. Oh, won't you do this for me, son, if you can?
Well, since Gabby and I are from Raleigh, North Carolina, I'm going to do this one.
Well, I'm headed on south to the land of the pines, coming my way into North Carolina. I'm tearing up them roads and I'm praying to God I see headlights. I made it down the coast in 17 hours, picking me a bouquet of dogwood flowers, and I'm hoping for Raleigh and see my baby tonight. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Oh, rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. So rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Rock me, mama. Running from the cold up in New England, I was born to be a rocker in a new town dream band. My baby plays the guitar, I pick the banjo now. Oh, the North Country winters keep getting me, and I lost my money playing poker, so I had to up and leave. But I ain't turning back to living that old life no more. So rock me, mama, like a wagon wheel. Oh, rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, mama, rock me. So rock me, mama, like the wind and the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, mama, rock me. Yeehaw. Running on south out of Roanoke, I got a trucker out of Philly and a nice long tote. He's a heading west from the Cumberland down to Johnston City, Tennessee. And I gotta get a move on before the sun. Hear my baby's calling my name, and I know that she's the only one. If I die in Chicago, or where are we? Technically, at least I will die